Hi, my name is Casey Permenter, and I am a project manager and PCA team leader with Nova Consulting. My company is a proud member of the NEEDDA organization. NEEDDA is the National Engineering and Environmental Due Diligence Association, which is a 501c nonprofit organization formed to promote the common interests of engineering and environmental consulting firms who provide due diligence for real estate transactions. For the purposes of this presentation, we will focus the discussion on property condition assessments, also known as PCAs, as these are a type of project commonly assigned to contractors by NEEDDA firms. Contractors and NEEDDA firms each bring something to the table. The goal is to create a symbiotic relationship where each party's contribution is mutually beneficial to the project as a whole. Contractors bring location. Contractors can access and assess projects in hard-to-reach places. Experience. Contractors are engaged to be the local experts for a project with knowledge of codes, regulations, and other items specific to a particular location. Volume. Contractors enable companies to tolerate fluctuations in market by supplementing a company's staff as workloads increase. Convenience. Contractors allow firms to meet the demands of their clients in an effective and cost-efficient manner. NEEDDA firms bring projects. Firms provide project flow for local contractors. Structure. Firms provide the structure within which contractors perform projects. Resources. Firms provide materials and access to information which may not be readily available to the contractor. Expectations. Generally, NEEDDA firms expect contractor reports to reflect the ASTM standard. However, firms and clients may have different expectations. These expectations are expressed in templates, written communication, and/or scopes of work which the NEEDDA firm can provide. Qualifications. NEEDDA firms consider education, training, and experience when engaging contractors. Contractors may be sole proprietors operating under a company name, or they may be part of a small to medium-sized firm. The individual engaged for any project should act as both the field assessor and the project author for any project assigned. If this is not the case, the NEEDDA firm should be alerted immediately. A NEEDDA firm will send clients lists of contractors assigned to a project for a particular site. Therefore, it is important that the contractor or contractor's employees provided on that list be the person who arrives to perform the site visit. When someone else shows up, it is embarrassing and unprofessional. At a minimum, a project condition assessment will have the following general requirements. Project setup, review of scope and requirements, regulatory inquiries, site visit, reporting, cost tables, Americans with Disabilities Act, and/or Federal Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 review, and communication. Project setup. Review the scope of work for a project. This information may be obtained from report templates, from emails with the NEEDDA firm, or from a standard scope of work for a particular client. Pre-research. Consult municipal GIS, Google Earth, or perform a Google search. A quick internet search of the property name and address may give you an idea of the size of a project, especially if it is multifamily, or the types of tenants at a property, if it is a commercial or industrial property. Site contact. Spend a little time doing a pre-site visit interview to get an idea of issues. Most companies have a pre-site visit interview form you use. Alert the NEEDDA firm as soon as possible of sluggish or non-responsive and responses and resistance to access. Be mindful of access requirements and of notification for multifamily sites. In general, be prepared and know your site to mitigate surprises the day of the site visit. Regulatory inquiries. Regulatory inquiries can be performed in person, via telephone, or by email. In some cases, they may need to be submitted in writing. Department inquiries required by NEEDDA firms typically include local fire departments. Does the fire department perform periodic inspection of properties? When was the last inspection date for the property? Are there any open permits at the property? Are there any open inspection items or violations at the property? Building Planning Department. Does the Building and/or Planning Department perform periodic inspections of the property beyond inspections performed as part of permitted construction projects? Is there a certificate of occupancy for the property, and can a copy be obtained? Are there any open permits at the property? Are there any open inspection items or violations at the property? Be sure to document inquiries and provide any files obtained. Site visit. As mentioned before, be prepared. Know the standard, review scopes and templates, do some pre-research, request access to all areas prior to site visit, and particularly identify roof access requirements. Perform the inspection. Complete all access requirements. Field inspection worksheet should be completed, and make sure that, as mentioned before, all areas that are required to be accessed are accessed. Review pertinent records on site. Communicate any issues with the NEEDDA firm as soon as possible, especially if there are access issues or access restrictions. Be sure to document any areas that could not be accessed in the report. As always, maintain professional conduct at all times while on site and interacting with site personnel and clients. Arrive on time, identify the NEEDDA firm you are working with, present a positive attitude, keep conversation project focused, dress appropriately, and release results to NEEDDA firm only. Reporting. Know the ASTM requirement with which you are working with. Be sure to review the template language, special scope considerations, and any client-specific requirements. Within the report text, complete sentences, provide accurate descriptions, spell and grammar check, and be sure that your document is client-ready when submitted. Also, be sure to deliver a complete report on time. Cost tables. Provide accurate quantities and reasonable unit cost opinions. Provide specific locations of immediate or critical repair items. Be consistent with your component descriptions. Verify all calculations. Reflect textual recommendations within the body of your table. Be sure to provide cost per square foot rather than cost per unit where available. Verify the length of your reserve term. And be sure to avoid lump sum cost items when possible. Americans with Disabilities Act. This is a limited scope visual survey, and the baseline evaluation is performed per E2018-15. It's subject to representative inspection limitations. A detailed evaluation is beyond the scope of E2018-15, and supplemental evaluation and assessment may be needed or recommended depending on the client's requirements and the type of project. Along those lines, there's also a Federal Fair Housing Act review. This goes along the same baseline evaluation as the ADA evaluation, E2018-15. And again, typically a limited scope visual survey. There are 7 design and construction elements for accessible housing, and a detailed evaluation is beyond the scope of the E2018-15. And again, as with the ADA screening, supplemental evaluation and assessment may be needed and or recommended depending on the type of project and the client's requirements. Communication. Communication between the project's specific parties is important, and the communication between the NEEDDA firm and the contractor include engagement, scheduling, PSQ, and FOIA submission, site visit completion, report completion, and requests for additional information. Between the contractor and the site contact, there is scheduling, pre-site visit interview, on-site interview, follow-up questions, and as noted previously, never release results of assessment or report to site contact. Between the contractor and the client, all questions and inquiries from clients and brokers should be directed immediately to the NEEDDA firm contact. For additional resources and training, please refer to the following websites: www.needda.net and www.astm.org. The NEEDDA Group thanks you for your interest in establishing a relationship as an independent contractor. We greatly appreciate those relationships that have been previously formed and proven to be of mutual benefit. We look forward to establishing and maintaining a lasting business relationship. Thank you very much.